You are listening to Midlife with Courage. This is where women in midlife come for inspiration, motivation, and sometimes a little education to help them live more boldly. Don't forget to hit that follow or subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. Now let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Midlife with Courage. I am Kim Benoit, your host. Thank you for being here. Today, I have a lovely guest. Her name is Jo Blackwell. Welcome to the podcast, Jo.
Hi, Kim. Thanks for having me.
I'm very excited to talk to you. I haven't talked to anyone on the other side of the ocean for a long time, so I'm happy to have you here today for just that reason too. I was just thinking about that this morning. So we're going to talk about the lovely menopause years, and you have a story about falling apart in your 40s, which I think is something all of our listeners can probably understand and relate to. So why don't you start, if you want to start telling us about that, what happened?
Sure. Well, I mean, what I would say is that I fell victim to believing what we're told about growing older. When I was about 48, my knees just weren't bending properly. And so I went to see an orthopedic surgeon, and they took all the x-rays and so on. And when I went back into his office to see what was going on, he put his pen down, sat back, and he went, "Not much we can do, really." I said, "Well, hang on a minute." He showed me the x-rays, exactly. Showed me the x-rays and showed me that, the closing of the gaps. It's osteoarthritis, basically. And I said, "Oh, no. I'm paying to see you." I said, "I want a solution. What do we do now?" And he said, "You can come back to see me when you're 60 and your needs have reduced."
Oh, no.
Just let that sink in for a minute. And my mouth dropped open. And I said, "What do you think I'm going to be doing when I'm 60? Am I going to be sitting on the sofa and watching daytime TV? I mean, are you mad?"
Oh, my
What
gosh.
the heck? And I went away and I phoned my sister and I said, he says I'll be in a wheelchair by the time I'm 60. And he said, she immediately went to positivity, what I would call toxic positivity. I wanted her to say, "Oh, well, that's a load of rubbish, isn't it? Oh, isn't that awful, etc., etc., and commiserate with me." And she said, "Oh, don't worry, we'll pimp your wheelchair and I'll take you out." I'm 65 this year, and let me tell you, I'm fitter now than I was at 48.
Hooray.
No, my knees don't bend. No, not very far. If I'm in yoga and they say do the chair, I have to do the bar stool. But, you know, I learnt eventually to concentrate on what I can do and not what I can't. But in between that, of course, that was right in the middle of perimenopause. We weren't really talking about it 20 years ago. And I didn't know what was going on. I'd had palpitations, so they sent me to a heart specialist. My knees didn't bend, they sent me to an orthopedic specialist, etc., etc. I was anxious. I'd lost all my confidence. I just didn't, I couldn't decide what to buy for dinner. I would stand in the supermarket and be going, "I don't know what goes with what. I don't know what to do."
Oh, no.
And children were leaving home. I've got 4 children, and they were all leaving. I'd taken the family business through a liquidation during the 2008 recession. Everything was just falling apart, including me. And it was easily the worst time in my life.
Yeah. I think that's it's a universal story for so many women. But the scary thing is that nobody, they kept going, "Okay, here's your symptom. We're going to go here. We're going to do that." It wasn't like, why is this all happening? Oh, it's
No.
perimenopause. Like, why did it take so long for everyone to figure this out?
Well, it's because, isn't it? Because we've got this allopathic medical system where people are trained to specialise in bits of us. And nobody
Yes.
ever looks at the whole person. They don't look at, never mind looking at their mind, their emotions and their spiritual needs or whatever. All of these things come into play as we go through perimenopause. Because they talk about a midlife crisis. It's a crisis of identity. It's not what we think it is. Our identity is changing. I was a full-time mother for years and years and years, and suddenly I brought up 4 confident adults who obviously went off without backward glance.
See ya.
Cheerio! Sorry, that was very English of me, wasn't it?
I love
Cheerio!
that. Cheerio. I love it. See, I said see ya. You said cheerio.
Not many young people would say that over here. That's an older
Oh,
person, an older generation word that comes from the
gotcha.
war,
Oh my gosh.
during the war. Yeah. So I had to change that. But what I did was I was really depressed. I mean, they gave me
Mm,
antidepressants, and I'm
mhm,
thinking, well, okay, so they've given me antidepressants, which for my generation that was a terribly shameful thing to admit that I wasn't coping.
mm, mhm,
And honestly, there wasn't much support for that at all. And I suddenly realized that one of the things that I was missing was connection because I'd been used to living in this house with 4 children and their
mm,
friends and all the bustle that you have when you're bringing up a family.
yeah.
I'd never done the corporate thing. I was 20 when I got married, 22 when I had the first baby.
Mm,
One of my children was ill, had chronic fatigue syndrome, so I ended up as full-time carer for her. And I never had the career. And what I did at I was about 46 when this was happening. When I was prescribed the antidepressants, I started to write. I used to write for a living, sort of 30 years ago, and I started to write a blog called Project 50. I called it because
uh-huh.
I was coming up to my 50th birthday. No, so I was 48. Can't remember my own timeline.
That's okay.
I'm sure people will be familiar with that thought.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So I started to write this blog, which I called Project 50, and it was kind of a howl in the dark, talking about I don't want to be 50, I don't want to get older, I'm washed up at 50 because of all the physical problems that were going on, and the loss of the confidence, the anxiety. Oh my goodness, that
Mm,
feeling of waking up in the morning with that pit in your stomach of oh that dread, you know.
yeah.
I've always been a worrier, but I'd never been like that before. And so I started writing this blog, and people started responding,
Hmm.
which astonished me, because I was just sending it out into the ether. It was like an online digital journal, really.
Sure. Sure.
And people started coming back to me and said, "Oh, I feel like that too," and I did this
Mm,
about it, I did that about it, or whatever.
mm,
And I suddenly realized what I was missing was connection with other people, connection with people my own age, as much as anything else. And bearing in mind we were going through this awful recession at the time, so there was a lot of worry, a lot of stress. And I'd started to realize that knowing that you're not alone is really, really powerful. So I
mm.
started something that I called the Midlife Movement. And it was basically bringing together women that were feeling this way, just so that we could all have a good old moan together online. And it gradually evolved from that. And I brought the book, the best of the blogs, together in a book called Oh Crap,
Nice.
I'm 50, A Journey from Fearful to Fabulous Sometimes.
I love that.
Yeah, I didn't realise that crap was regarded as a profanity, which caused a
Oh,
few problems on Facebook and things like that. But there you
really?
go. Really, yeah, of all
Hmm.
the things I could say.
Yeah, there's so many worse words than that, but okay.
Exactly. Still. But, yeah, so I kind of found my tribe, and I realized, I actually when I was doing this blog, I decided that I do interrupt if I'm talking too much. I've kind of gone on a roll.
Oh, no, this is good. I love it.
Um, uh, I decided I would interview people over 50 as I was approaching my 50th birthday to prove
Sure.
to myself that there was still life left. So I put a call out on local radio. Look, I'm looking for people who are willing to talk to me, willing to have their photographs taken. And I got so many people sort of saying, oh, I want to be on it. I want to be on it. And I thought I better go on a course and learn how to take photographs then, if I'm going to take
Oh,
photographs.
I
So I
love
borrowed,
that. You put this out there before you even knew. It's like
yeah,
jumping until
jump.
without the net, and
Yes,
then just you
exactly.
just knowing the net's gonna appear there when you do that.
Well, I borrowed my husband's camera, which I'd never used. I didn't know how to turn it on. I mean, I worked it out. But when I got on this course, it was like a 3-day course.
Mm.
up in the Lake District, beautiful place. And I looked around and I thought, oh, these people have got these great long lenses. And I booked myself in a course for professional photographers.
Oh, no.
I thought, oh my goodness, what shall I do? Shall I slink away all embarrassed?
Oh, my goodness.
But no, I thought, no, I need to learn. And the instructor, lovely, lovely guy, I sidled up to him and said, could you show me how to use this camera? And he sort of gave me a bit of a grin, and said, yeah, come on, I'll show you. But they had lots of different models and so on there. And they had one woman who was a similar age to me.
Mhm.
And I was watching what the other photographers were doing. And the ones that were working as photographers, mostly male, I have to say, those ones, would just step in front of her, pick the camera up and click, never spoke to her. She was really
Wow.
nervous. And I stood in front of her and I thought, I can't do that. So I started chatting to her. Of course, she relaxed, picked up
Right.
the camera, looked through the camera, and it took my breath away. With the camera, through the lens, I could see her. I could see what she looked like when she was 16. I could see what she would look like at 80. I could see who she was. It was beautiful. It
Oh.
just filled me up. Well, of course, I came home and I'm like that, jattering away to my husband, and he said, "Oh, don't tell me you're going to be a professional photographer now too." And I went, "No, of course I'm not. Bloomin' am." And that was the beginning of a 14-year career in photography,
Oh my god. That's
quite
amazing.
by
Like,
accident.
you had the courage to do that, first of all, and then I got goosebumps when you were talking about seeing her through the lens and how
Mm,
saw her at the different stages. And there again, that's that connection. You connected with her
yeah,
first,
yeah.
and
And
that's
I
amazing.
did that all the way through, even when I went into a corporate environment and just had to do headshots. I would
Mhm.
say to the young girl in front of me, "Or where do you see yourself going in this company?" I always remember one young girl saying to me, "Oh, I want to be I want to be the CEO." And I went, "Right, let's pose you like a CEO then." And we got some really good, powerful photographs of her. Whereas before she'd kind
Right.
of, come in with her shoulders round yeah, and it's
Yeah.
just lovely. It was just lovely. And I got a
Oh,
reputation for getting the best out of people. So
sure.
it was fun.
That's amazing.
Unfortunately, I've had to stop that now, but because the arthritis is in lots of other places and my
Oh.
fingers get stuck, which
Oh,
isn't good
sure.
when you're trying to take a photo.
No, that's not a good
Hold the
thing.
pose, hold the pose. Ow!
Yes, give me a minute to move my finger. Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh.
So,
Oh.
so that was
Oh my
sad. I had to
goodness.
give that up last year.
Yeah. And I don't wanna be like, "Oh, but you still have evidence of how wonderful your photography career was and the things that you did,
Yeah, yeah.
and
It
brought
it
out in
gave me
people."
so much more confidence,
Oh.
and that's not to say I haven't picked my camera up since I stopped uh,
Mm.
shooting professionally.
One term that comes up when I was looking through your website and the information that you gave me before we recorded this is the term self-ageism.
Mm.
Let's talk about what that is and what it means, and we'll go from
S-
there.
Yeah, self-ageism is everything. It's everything that holds us back, and we live in a society that tells us that we are old after 50. Um, you've only got to, right from the very start, my young grandchildren, I went to the park not long ago with the 3-year-old, and I reached up for something and I'd misjudged how high it was. And I said, "Oh, Grandma, I can't reach that." And she said, "Well, maybe it's because you're old." And I said, "No, it's because I'm not tall enough."
Nip
But these
that in the bud.
messages go in, if you've ever watched Bluey, which is a fantastic children's program in so many ways, but they've
Mhm.
got this thing, "Here come the grannies," and they're there with
Oh,
their sticks and, "Oh, Janice."
oh no.
So it starts very, very young. We have this, it's what they call an egregore, something in society that we just accept as true, which isn't an absolute truth. Bit like patriarchy. It's something that none of us really think about. We just live within that system. We live
Right.
within a system where to age is to decline. And if we buy into that, I mean, who hasn't said, oh, I've just had a senior moment, or blamed something on our age that actually, I broke my ankle a couple of years ago and I said, oh, honestly, I blamed my age. And my son said, I could have broken my ankle if I'd spun round like you did. Why are you
Mm.
saying it's because of your age? And it pulled me up short.
Uh,
The thing is, if we think of ourselves as old, if we let the old woman in, we're going to be old. And there's nothing wrong with being old. We need a new word for it, really.
yes.
um, but you've only got to look at the lengths we go to make sure our hair isn't grey. I mean, I stopped dyeing my hair a couple of years ago now, I think during COVID, and I
Mhm.
just don't dye it anymore. And it's so, so liberating not to have to sit there for hours on end and spend all that money. Um,
Mhm.
we go to all these things like, the little lines. I don't like the little lines above my lips. I'm not
Mhm.
saying I'm not vain anymore. I'm just as vain as I've ever been.
Yeah.
But I don't see why I should inject something into myself to look
Yes.
acceptable in society. There's
Yes.
this thing at the moment. I was on LinkedIn the other day and somebody was saying that recruitment firms are telling older people, not just women, anyone over 50, take some of your experience off so that you don't look as old. Now,
That's not okay.
that's not okay at all. Yes, let's just start a job by telling a lie. It's
Yeah.
crazy. But
Yeah.
you imagine if you're unemployed and you need work, you're going to do what it takes. And then you're
Mhm.
going to go in there, you're going to deny any menopause symptoms because menopause, that is, men don't have this rite of passage that says, now I am older. But we have
Right.
this rite of passage that says we are no longer fertile. Therefore, in this patriarchal society, we are no longer of any use.
Mhm.
This all goes in and affects the way we feel about ourselves. And that, in a nutshell, is what self-ageism is. It's an
Sure.
outdated narrative, an egregore that we all live within that we need to be aware of. And once we're aware of it, we need to challenge it in our own minds.
Right. Right. How do we do that? Because it is such a I mean, I have ideas and I have things that I talk about with women, the little things that we do that sometimes we'll just say it's just me. I use the word just as a four-letter word, you minimize
Yeah.
yourself. So
Yeah.
that's one thing that I do, but what are some things that we can do to maybe reverse that in our own minds?
It's difficult, isn't it?
Mhm.
It's something that I've been working on now. I mean, I keep telling this story. If ever my daughter listens to a podcast that I'm on, it's unlikely, but she'll
You're
go,
in
"Why do you
trouble.
keep talking about me?" She lives in New Zealand. I went
Okay.
over to see her, in her and her family, and we had quite a few heated debates because there is this narrative going around at the moment about older people hoarding wealth, keeping it away from younger people, stopping them from getting on the housing ladder. We're hoarding housing, we're hoarding wealth. And it is this narrative that is being pushed on us to distract us, I think, from where the wealth really is and where the blocks
Mhm.
are. Not to get too political about it, but it's about awareness, isn't it? And about thinking about this. And she
Yes.
kept talking about this, and I kept pushing back and saying, look, hang on a minute. You know, if older people have their houses and own their houses, they've worked blooming hard. They surely they
Right.
deserve to have the houses.
Uh,
Anyway, we got a few moments to go out for brunch together, and I thought, oh, lovely. I'm going to. She'd just gone back to work after maternity leave, so we
mhm.
hadn't seen much of her. So we went out for brunch. She sat me down and she went, have you and Dad thought about looking at retirement villages?
Wow.
After the air cleared, and got through the blue air, I said, "What are you talking about?" And she said, "Oh, well, she said, oh, you're nearly 65, Mum. Dad's 68. I think maybe you should be thinking about this now because,
Mm.
you're not getting any younger. You're not." And I said,
Uh,
"I'm not ready to go into a retirement village. What are you talking about?" And it was this idea that we should be fading now. We should be slowing down. Now,
mm.
so I've got two views on this. Number one, I think if we want to carry on working, carry on creating businesses, etc., until we're 89, 95, whatever, if we
Right.
can do it, we should be encouraged to do it. But your energy changes in your
Mm.
60s. And I've definitely found I can no longer multitask. I have to concentrate on one thing at a time. And my mental health is so much better for that. I can no
Mm.
longer work through the night and expect to function the next day.
Every week on Midlife with Courage, we share stories that remind us we're not alone. Now, I'd love to take that conversation one step further. It's Not Just You is a 4-week workshop where we'll discover the ways we've learned to shrink ourselves and practice taking up space with courage and confidence. Because listening can inspire us, but practicing creates lasting change. If you're ready for that next step, click the link in the show notes to join the priority list. I hope you'll join me this September.
You know, that used to be a go-to for me. Oh, I'll just work through the night for 5 nights in a row. It'll be fine. You know, you learn to protect your energy a lot more. So you operate in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Some people want to slow down. I've worked for 50 years. I just want to tend my garden. Oh, I just used that 4-letter word.
You did.
Sorry about that.
It's okay in that instance.
I don't want to be out in the world anymore. I want to close my world a little bit. And that's
Mm-hmm.
fine too. The
Mm-hmm.
point is, it's about choice, isn't it? And agency. So, ways to combat it. Awareness is the first thing. As
Mm-hmm.
soon as you start noticing what you and your friends think and say about older people. So you might look at the Oscars or what have you, and you go, oh, look, she's let herself go, hasn't she? Oh, Gwyneth Paltrow, she's not had any, no, not Gwyneth Paltrow. What's her name from Friends? Phoebe from Friends.
Oh,
Um,
Lisa Kudrow.
Lisa Kudrow, she's not had any Botox, has she? Oh, look at the state of her. She should. Brilliant, brilliant. Lisa Kudrow, I love you if you're listening to this.
Yes, yes.
Because in my opinion, we need to see more older faces. We need to see what 65 looks like, 64, whatever. We need to normalise seeing older faces.
Right.
But there was all this hoo-ha about Nicole Kidman recently on the red carpet.
Mm-hmm.
She's 60 years old and
Mm-hmm.
she's just... you can't be that thin and be healthy. You know, apparently the
Right.
poor girl, she has to wear wigs because your hair falls out when you're constantly dieting.
Oh, no.
You know, I mean, what are
Yeah.
we doing to ourselves?
Yeah.
You've we Old shouldn't be a dirty word. We need
Right.
to get to this stage where we're not ashamed. So whenever you find yourself making excuses, oh, you know, it's like before COVID, I used to speak quite a lot locally.
Mm-hmm.
And I really had problems with it. I felt that I was too old, too fat. You know, nobody's going to
Mm-hmm.
be interested in what I was going to say, you know. And
Mm.
it wasn't until I thought to myself, hang on a minute, I'm getting in the way of the message I want to put out. My message is more important than what I look like,
Yes.
you know. And when I forget my words on the stage, I'm normally talking to a room full of women. I will just go, I'm really sorry, but that thought just walked over there as I was saying it. I forgot the end of my sentence. And you could see them all relax. Oh,
Yeah.
she's one of us,
Yep.
you know,
Because they've been there too.
support other women. You
Yeah.
know, why are we
Yeah.
sort of buying into this? We have a newspaper over here. I don't know if you've heard of it, called the Daily Mail.
Mm-hmm. I've
It's the
heard of it.
most toxic, vile rag that you could hope to read. And
Mm.
they specialise in pulling people down,
Oh.
particularly women. And it's just vile. The female journalist the other day was saying, I can't remember which celebrity it was, but somebody needs to tell her the truth about this. And it was because she was showing her aging face. Look at
Oh
our
my
Pamela
gosh.
Anderson, all the blowback
Oh.
she's got because she's appearing on the red carpet looking her age,
Yeah. No
you know?
makeup. Like, good for you. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, this
Yeah.
is what you look like. We
Yeah.
shouldn't be ashamed of it. We should say,
No.
so I'm 65, so I'm 70, so I'm 70. And this is why everywhere I go, I always manage to put my age in there somewhere
Yeah.
because I've got to walk my talk. I'm
Right.
not immune to all these pressures and so on.
Right.
And I do
Yeah.
find myself, like I've got a photo with my grandchild and I go, ooh, and I go, oh, I have to pull myself back because I'm giving that child, that girl, this impression that how you look is so important.
Yeah.
Yeah, grandma does have a red face in photos, that's just the way
Mhm.
it is.
That's how it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've kind of been going through that too. I've got this belly all of a sudden. Well, it probably
Mm,
wasn't all of a sudden, but this menopause belly. And I had my
yeah.
picture taken with it for a work thing last week, and I looked at the photo. I'm like, oh no, we have to take that over because I look pregnant,
Yeah.
basically. So I
Yeah.
made him take it over, but that's not me saying the outside world is going to see me like that. It's me saying, okay, I don't like what's going on
What?
here, and I need to change it.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
kind of my journey right now is, okay, how can I be healthier so I'm not
It's like,
so
it's like that cortisol sort of belly, isn't it?
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Oh,
it
don't worry.
is.
I have one of those too.
Yes.
I call it my smile because
Smile.
when you look at yourself in the mirror and you've got that slight overhang, it goes up
Oh.
at the edges, doesn't it? It's a smile.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. I'm gonna change that thought.
I look at my lumps and my bumps and everything, and I
Yeah.
I think to myself, this belly has carried 4 children and birthed
Yes.
4
Yeah.
children into the world. It's
Right.
eaten loads of cakes and really
Mhm.
enjoyed them. It had pizza last night as a takeaway. And it's just
Oh.
like that. I don't know if you've ever heard of the romantic novelist Barbara Cartland.
Yes.
Yes, she was always in pink and she used to
Yes.
write these romance novels.
Sure.
She famously said that a woman gets to a certain age and you have to make a choice. You
Mm.
either choose your body or your face. So if you're going
Mm.
to choose your body, you're going to have to diet and your face
Mhm.
is going to get older because it's going
Ah,
to get thinner and you're going to be able to see the wrinkles.
that's true.
Or you can eat what you want and you can sit down a lot. Nobody can see your body. I'm not advocating that, people. I'm just
No.
saying.
No, don't do
No.
that.
But whenever I'm thinner, I look older because
Y
the wrinkles aren't puffed out
yeah.
with the little, with my little
Yeah.
pockets of
I do
fat.
remember someone I was a nurse for a long time, and one of our ward secretaries was, a little plumper, and she says, "My skin looks so good and my face doesn't look wrinkly because I have a little extra fat there, so, like, it's okay to
Yeah.
be a little chubby." So,
Yeah.
uh,
I draw the line when my eyes disappear. So,
yes.
when they're
Yes.
like currants because you give a big
Yes.
smile and suddenly you've got no eyes. Yeah.
There's the eyes are
And then I
gone.
think, oh, okay,
Yes.
maybe I've taken it a bit
Yes.
too far.
Yes.
Cut back on the pizza.
Well, we kinda got off on a little bit of a tangent there, but
We
that's
did there,
okay.
didn't we? You might need to edit
So
that out.
just a little, maybe, we'll see. I don't know, it's been so nice, though. So, um, so again, we're talking about the self-ageism and what we can do about it
Mm.
and how it affects us. And I know you are a writer, you've got books, and I understand you have a new one coming, or it's been coming. Tell us about that.
It's just launched. It's called Aging
Okay.
Wonderfully Well. The good news
Mm,
about midlife and growing older. Because
love
there
it.
is some. And
Yes.
I found that a lot of women were saying to me, because I have a YouTube channel where I put out a video every week and talk
Mhm.
about all the different aspects of getting older and midlife. I talk less now about menopause because I've gone past that stage and I'm
Mhm.
now interested in what comes next. And a lot of
Ah,
women say, well, it's all very well, but what happens in post-menopause?
yeah.
What I didn't realise, because we're taught, aren't we, that after menopause, that's it. Everything, you just go downhill and you get sadder and you get weaker and more frail and eventually you're going to die. Great. I mean, is it any wonder we're a bit miserable about getting older? Actually, what happens is we get happier. The science tells us that. If you've probably heard of the the U curve of happiness.
Mhm.
There's like, if you imagine a U, we're really happy when we're children. We get to the bottom in our 40s and 50s. But then it starts climbing back up again. And
Yeah.
we're back to our childlike happiness levels by the time we're 80. So,
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned, it's all to come. The other thing I didn't expect was that my brain would get better.
Oh,
It's more clear. The new brain science, if you check out Lisa Mosconi's book, Dr. Lisa Mosconi, The
Mhm.
Menopause Brain,
Mhm.
women's brains weren't studied. We're always lumped in with men, with medical trials and so on and so forth. But we're not small men. We're different. We've got different
Mhm.
hormones. Our brains are different. She discovered that the brain fog that so many of us experience during perimenopause
Mm.
can be seen on brain scans, and it's due to the less energy going through the brain at that time, due to the,
Oh.
I think, the ups and downs. I'm not a scientist. That's the way I understand it.
Uh-huh.
But the interesting thing is that as we come out of perimenopause, it changes again. So
Mhm.
our brains are not declining, they're just rejigging the circuitry, if you like.
Hmm.
So our brains are just as good as they've ever been. Our
Yeah.
recall might not be as good. But I
Right.
think of it like this, if you've got a Rolodex of all your experiences, our Rolodexes are full. So we
Yes.
can recall things, but it takes longer.
Mhm.
But our pattern recognition is better. So we can see,
Mm.
we are better at seeing patterns and things. And that's something that
Okay.
develops with age. And it must have
Sure.
something to do with experience as well. And this is why it's so ridiculous that older people are being pushed out of the workforce, because
Yes.
we have those skills. Younger people have the energy and the push. We might
Mhm.
not have so much of we don't want to push so much now. Maybe we want to just sit back and look at the overview.
Right.
Companies need both. We need to be working
Exactly.
together. And this intergenerational cooperation that I feel that we are being discouraged, by the narrative that is being pushed now, is what we need to thrive as a society.
Yes.
And it benefits all of us. And so,
Right.
we're going back to combating self-ageism. What I would say, awareness is first, challenging it is second,
Mhm.
living the change is third. So find those intergenerational spaces where you can mix with younger people, not just
Mhm.
family. I'm trying to do this myself now because I'm finding that my world has shrunk. And
Uh-huh.
I'm going to join a working group. I'm not going to join a working group, a walking group,
Ah, yes. Yes.
so that I can get some exercise, but also I can meet women of all ages,
Yeah.
and talk and so on. And just remember that we can be mentored by younger people in the same way as we can mentor them. It's a circular thing. Stay interested in life, stay curious. And the final thing I would say on that is learn to let go. Let go of youth. It's great while it lasts, but there are good things for you now at this stage in your life. Let
Oh,
go of holding on to your children. Let go of that identity you might have had when you were at work if you're planning to retire. By letting go, we open the door then to growing. We continue to
right.
grow till the day we die.
Yeah.
And I was talking to somebody the other day and she said, I am declining. My body is declining. But isn't it interesting that growth and decline can live in the same person, in the same
Yes.
space?
Yeah. We just are growing in different ways
Mm.
than what we've done before.
Yeah.
I love that.
So
Yeah.
if anybody's listening to this in their 40s and going through perimenopause, I want you to know there's so much ahead of you. Postmenopause is great. I know some people have challenges, some people have, health or financial, all those challenges, which we do at any stage of life.
Mm.
I'm at 65 nearly. I'm happier than I've ever been. I know who I am. My confidence has come back, not in the same way as it was before, but in a much steadier, more grounded way. Life is good post-menopause. So just, navigate through the transition, which, there was one section in my book about navigating the transition. And then you come out at the other side and there's so much there for you.
Mhm. Such a hopeful message, and it makes me feel better
Oh,
about
good.
what I'm currently going through. So, and I know the
Yeah.
listeners out there will appreciate that as well. Joe, where can they find you if they'd like to listen to your podcast or learn more about you, join your Substack? Tell us about where they can find you.
Well, if you go to my website, which is www.joeblackwell.co.uk, everything is on there. There are links to everything, the podcast, the YouTube channel,
Okay.
where you can buy my book and so on. That's on Amazon. We're Aging Wonderfully Well by Joe Blackwell.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best hub for people to go to.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. We'll put that in the show notes so people can just go to that and find
Yeah.
find everything they need to know about you.
Yeah, come and join me, Midlife and Beyond with Joe Blackwell on YouTube. I'd love to
Yes.
see you
And
there.
I have listened to a couple of your episodes of your podcast too. Very nice. Very
Oh,
great
good.
messages and yeah, wonderful. So wonderful. I hate to say goodbye to you because this has been so lovely, but is there any one last message you want to give the listeners as we say goodbye?
Just, you know, like Mary Oliver said, this one life that you have. She didn't say that. She didn't say it like that. Oh my gosh. I can't remember what she said. But you know the quote, that famous quote, what are you going to do with your one wonderful life?
Yes, yes.
It doesn't end at 50. Menopause is just a transition. And you've got so much more to live and so much more to look forward to. Look for the upsides of it. Look for what you
Wonderful.
can do, not what you can't.
Wonderful. All right. We will take that to heart. Thank you so much, Joe. I would love to talk to you again sometime soon.
Yes, definitely.
You've been listening to Midlife with Courage. If you liked what you heard, I would love it if you would leave me a review. Or even better, send a link of this episode to a friend. Until next time, take care of your beautiful self.